Hi, Paulina. Thanks for joining me today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, good. Well, Paulina was one of my students this past spring in level one and level two. And so we're just going around and we're just pulling stories from people about like why, different things about what brought them to Deborah School and what you got from it, what you learned from it. So the first thing I wanted to know is what brought you to astrology? Why do you choose to study astrology?
I've always felt a connection to the stars, and coming from a Greek culture, I've always felt connected to that ancient culture of like how they used to keep time and how they used to, like the Greek mythology is very based on nature and these deep, crazy stories of like cool characters and the star systems and outer space. Like it's just so like esoteric and yeah, I've always just felt connected to astrology and stars and nature and the tides and the lunar cycles.
Yeah.
Just always, like naturally. And then my first yoga teacher, sorry, my first yoga teacher, actually, we learned a portion of astrology during my first yoga teacher training in Costa Rica.
Okay.
The astrologer who was on my training actually had talked about Debra Silverman, and it took years until I came back around and I was like, this is the teacher that my teacher was teaching us about. So
The teacher that my teacher was teaching us about. Yeah.
exactly. It's like
That's so
a
good.
big circle that
Yeah.
finally came back around. So I've just always felt connected, and I had a few things be confirmed over the years where I just kept coming back to it and I kept coming back to it, and here I am.
Right. So it just made sense. Like you kept being like, I don't know. And then like some part of your personality would come up and you'd be like, oh, okay, now I get it. Which is actually my next question was, what did you learn that was the biggest surprise in your chart?
Ooh.
I know.
Well, I would definitely have to say the houses, learning that I had a lot of eighth house energy of Scorpio. I always resonated with the Scorpio energy, but I didn't have any of my planets in Scorpio,
Hmm.
which confused me. And I'm like, that's not right. I don't know about all this stuff because I feel it. And then we learned that I have some planets in the eighth house, which is the house of
Hmm.
Scorpio. So for me, that was big. And just Scorpio is a fun energy for me, and it was fun to feel that finally confirmed.
Right.
In
Right.
a
That just
way.
makes you feel like more, like you said, you're like, I don't know about this Libra thing. I mean, I get that I have this Libra energy as you do, but it's all in the eighth house. And then to also realize you have Pluto on the midheaven, which, is like the very tippy top of your chart, right? And that's all stuff we learn in level two. So, it was like coming around to that, like learning everything you learned in level one and then in level two to have that deepening, I would say, probably around like, aha.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, it was like a little tease of like, whoa, like I'm seeing the door open. And then level two was like the floodgates of just, wow, so much self realization and so much self acknowledgement and so much self awareness kind of just coming in,
Right.
being able to understand all of that on a deeper level.
Right, right. That's so true. And we, as your teacher, I remember kind of talking with you along the way about, about you, obviously, and then we talked a little bit about your partner and kind of the compatibility and things like that. So, how has knowing astrology changed or shaped your view of others?
Oh, wow. Well, so it's always tricky because, you don't want to be like, what's your sign? Like, you're totally like, you're such a Virgo. Oh, like, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's so funny to observe and to not want to judge or add some
Mhm.
sort of bias or have some sort of ego like whispers in your mind of like, I know a lot about this person. I can tell because like look at how they're talking and look at how they're using their hands and look at how they fix their hair. Like I can totally tell Leo, right, like whatever. So
Right.
it's been a fun game of trying to step back and stay in the observing position and not like try to judge people for what I'm trying to guess as this astrology student, trying to piece together like, oh, I wonder this and that.
Right.
But it definitely has shed a lot of light on aspects of people's personalities and the way they communicate and the way they express once I am able to like either look at their chart or just ask a couple like surface level questions about their sun, moon, and rising, or their basic astrology. It's
Right.
so fun. It's so addicting. And I've been always wanting to know everything now. I want to see everyone's chart. And
Right.
it's,
Yeah, that's so
it's
true. So
so,
everyone you come across, you're like, you want to be just, it is like the study of humanity and being able to get out of judgment and to be able to be in that observer role and to really, just really understand that, for like Virgo energy and their ability to want to have things in order or whatever. And just to be like, oh, that's okay. That's who they are versus, just
right.
like, oh God, if they make me pick up or if they make me do that one more time, which we do that, but at least we can be like, okay, we understand that's their role here. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the permission slips that I've given to people that I normally, like in my family,
Hmm.
or my close friends, that I've been able to just excuse and just love even more and more unconditionally, because I'm like, wow, that's the way you manifested this life, so that you can offer this idea and this skill and this habit for us to learn from. So it's been a really humbling process of just acknowledging and seeing people in a different light that they deserve to be in,
Right.
instead of judgment or criticism or like any of those.
Right. That's so good. That's exactly right. And that's the gift that we love to give people through applied astrology with Deborah School. And so I'm so glad. I love when I keep hearing those affirmations of like that's what students are getting from it. So that's so good. So with Deborah School, like the way that the level 1 was laid out with the 4 classes and then level 2 with the 4 classes, like how did that work for the way that you learn?
It was really easy for me just having a schedule, like, once a week at a certain time we log on and we have class. And before class, you watch, the certain video, and you maybe hopefully look forward to the homework, and you navigate through all the stuff that's been opened, accordingly on that time frame. But logging on at a certain time every week, having like a set schedule,
Mhm.
it was really easy for me, and it made so much sense. It was just organized, and I like that a lot.
Right.
I do have my Venus in Virgo. I was like, wow, it's so pretty, and it's so organized, and it's beautiful, and it's easy to just download everything. I could use my tablet. I could download everything onto my tablet and go to the beach and study. And that's what I did every week. I studied
Right.
at the beach, and the only time I sat on Wi-Fi was for our live calls.
Right.
So I loved being able to be remote or be anywhere studying and looking at everything, and then just coming, back to the
Right.
present, like centered moment of just like getting on the call every week.
Good.
It
Good. I
was
didn't really think about that. You really actually were able to use it more remotely than most. That's true. Because you didn't have Wi-Fi there for a while. So that's so good that you
yeah.
can really kind of do it from anywhere and it's accessible. That's so cool. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, good. All right. Well, if you knew that people were watching this video to decide like, should I do this? Why would I want to do this? Should I, how do I do this? What would you share with them?
Well, along with my own self realization, it's completely changed, like without saying it's changed my life, like it really, really has changed everything about the way I'm seeing myself, the way I'm able to forgive myself, and just look at myself and sit with myself, like being a yoga teacher and practicing meditation, and just being like a person who likes to be self-aware and who likes to deepen my practices. It's been such a tool of like actualizing my skills and my actual composition and my actual nature, and being able to look at it and sit with it and finally be comfortable with it and
Right.
be happy and be proud of it and be just understanding. And that's helped me go out into the world and hold my judgment or hold my tongue, and just be more curious and be more observant of my
Right.
surroundings and how everyone interacts in such interesting ways, and how there's such a big like science behind our nature. It's just changed everything for me, and it's a study that I don't ever see an end to. And I felt like I got such structure and such a good foundation through our program that I feel finally like I'm not drowning in all the information of astrology, of like, where do I find a good book, and where, like, what website actually has good horoscopes, like you know, we all want to like Google what's happening and learn about the cycles and learn about our, you know, our daily stuff. But
Right.
now I feel like I actually can know what's a good resource and what other resources I might dismiss. And I feel like I finally have a good foundation and a strong enough practice and study that I'm able to trust my intuitive knowledge that I've gained from the course. And then I can go out and do research if I still need to look something up. And it's offered so much, yeah, just like, it's like, I just feel like I have a solid foundation now with
Right.
astrology that I just feel, yeah, it's all come full circle in a way that I have my own understanding.
Good, good, good. And I see that in you, in the way that you worked your way through the class and in the way you did your reading and just how you continue. And that's the thing I hear the most is the structure and the foundation and that ability to feel confident. It's one of the reasons we push you out of the nest in level 2 and we make you go do a reading that we get to hear and say, see, you're better than you think you are. And just to really know. So yeah, so that's so good. Well, thank you, Paulina. I appreciate you
Yeah,
sharing all that with us.
of
Thanks for
course.
being with us today.
My pleasure.
We'll see you soon.
Uh, Yay.